we have one amendment to the agenda. We will be removing item 8A under consent agenda, approval of the Stepping Stones group agreement, and it will come back at a later date. 8I. What did I say? Okay. It's late already. 8I. Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There is no public comment, so we will convene to closed session. at 6:07. There is no report to take for action in closed session, and I would like to invite the students from Tech Middle School and Lawrence Jones to come up for the flag salute.
Please stand for the pledge. Three, two, one. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. All right, item 5, special recognitions and presentations. There's no public comment. So I would like to invite up Mr. Brooks from Marguerite Hahn. Oh, he's already there.
Good evening. I'm standing in for Mrs. Hankerson, who is unable to attend tonight in person, but is here virtually. The Hahn community is wowed by these students. We are so proud of Hannah Holtz and Haley Smith for their academic accomplishments on the SBAC. Both of these talented children earned a perfect score on the ELA portion of the test. If you are unfamiliar with the test, you can go to the CASP website and try a practice one out for yourself. It's insane. This test is tough. It takes hours. There's no multiple choice Scantron anymore. They have to often write in the answers themselves. And the questions on their own are already challenging. These two took it in stride and achieved a perfect score, which is remarkable, phenomenal, awe-inspiring. We are proud, but not entirely surprised. Both Haley and Hannah give their personal best every single day. They ask questions when they need to, they are big participants in class, and they persevere through hard tasks. These two are set to take on the world. Congratulations to you both on this accomplishment.
And then, oh, you guys are already up there. We have Miss Devereaux and Miss Mason from Technology High School.
All right, stand right there. I'm Michelle Devereaux, principal at Tech High, here with Ginny Mason, one of our AP teachers and a student we'd like to honor. In my 30 years of education, hard to believe I'm saying that, I've never heard of anybody getting a letter like this. So I'm going to read to you what the College Board emailed to me recently. It says, "We're writing to share some exciting news about one of your students. Brandon Arau Bauman's performance on the AP Computer Science Principles exam in May 2023 was so superior that it falls into a rather select category. Advanced placement exams are scored on a scale of 1 to 5. Brandon not only received the top score of 5, but was also one of only 459 students in the world to score the top score, earning every point possible on the AP Computer Science Principles exam. receiving the maximum score on each portion of the exam. This outstanding accomplishment is likely a direct reflection of the top quality education being offered at Technology High School. We applaud Brandon's hard work and the AP teacher responsible for engaging students and enabling them to excel in this college-level course. So I'd like Ginny Mason to say a few words because she is the teacher.
So it's not surprising that Brandon has done so well. He is a very conscientious, dedicated student and learner. He excels in most of everything he does in computer science, and it's been an honor to teach him last year and this year, continuing moving forward. So I am proud to have you as my student and thrilled that you were able to do this. Just to give you a breakdown of the test, 70% comes from a multiple choice, 30% comes from what's called a create task, where they actually have to do coding and then they are scored on this create task. They have to do all kinds of crazy things like put in comments and do a video and a number of other things, which is kind of where a lot of students sometimes miss points. But Brandon checked them all off and excelled in the actual task itself. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, that's so exciting. All right, our middle school safe school ambassadors. I believe we have our principals from Tech Middle and Lawrence Jones. Here we go. Oh, some students too, even better.
All right, let's see if I can do this.
Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Brown Herrera. I am the principal from Technology Middle School.
And my name is Meredith Keenan Boggs. I'm the principal at Lawrence Jones Middle School. And we're excited to co-present to you tonight about a program we've got running at both middle schools called Safe School Ambassadors. This is a program that has been running for a few years, but this year we're really getting some leverage. We've got students trained, and we have some lovely folks joining us to sort of walk you through what the program is and the impact that it has. So just for, transparency, having Safe School Ambassadors as a program on our campuses is in alignment with LCAP goal number 3, creating a community for optimum learning and working environments for students. Through the presentation, we're going to talk about why this program at our middle schools. We're going to talk about the program itself and then what the students are learning and the implications on the environment as a whole. So one of the data points that we take a look at is our Youth Truth Survey. This is something that students and families complete at the end of the year to give us a check on how, I know this is really small, I apologize, on how we're doing as middle school campuses and the impact that we're having on youth and their feelings about the environment in which they're learning. So what you see here is some data that shows our students are on the left, on the very top one for both schools. This is the culture summary measure. So what it says is this summary measure describes the degree to which students believe that their school fosters a culture of respect and fairness. So this is something we work towards every day. And then on the bottom for both, you see the summary measure describing the degree to which students feel welcome at their school and have collaborative relationships with their classmates. So things I think we all agree that we want to be taking place and to foster at our middle schools. And so Safe School Ambassadors is something that's lined up to address these issues. If you see where the big white bubble is, that's the percentile that we fall in. So Lawrence Jones is in the 42nd percentile, Tech Middle being in the 25th, and then on the bottom as well. You have, I believe, a printout of that presentation, I hope. So you've been able to look at that data. So what we're going to do is kind of walk you through this. Mr. Brown, do you have anything to add before we pass on to our team?
I've worked with Safe School Ambassadors in prior years, and I just know what a great impact it has on school culture. And I'm so excited to have some students here to present to you today because they are the heart of Safe School Ambassadors. We can sit all day talking about how important we think school culture is, but unless we get our kids to buy in, which they are, we're not going to see any meaningful change at our sites.
So I'm going to then hand this over to Mr. Tyler Rupiper, who's one of our teachers who participates as a facilitator for Safe School Ambassadors, to kind of give you an outline of the program, and then he will let our students speak their part.
Hello, my name is Tyler Rupiper. I am a teacher at Lawrence Jones Middle School and one of the Safe School Ambassador advisors. So I'll be speaking on the teacher's point of view for the SSA program. It starts with a 2-day training where we take students who have some form of sway on their public, who have an influence on community, and also students who may be having a hard time in the school as well. During that training, we go over shared vocabulary. We get them all on the same page and we get them interacting with each other to form their own little community groups. Then we break those groups up, we form new groups, and we have them participate in shared experiences. Some of them are very touchy. We have kids that share incredible stories who have lived twice a lifetime than even I have. From that point on, we start to strategize how we can take those negative effects that they experienced and how we can use the SSA program to then rebuild our own community. It's not uncommon that we see bullying or mistreatment on our campus. Part of the SSA goal is to change the way we do that verbiage. We go over mistreatment, we go over bullying, and then we show the kids not only how they can defend their community, but how they can defend themselves as well. The big point here is to build relationships, get them to form their own community, and then we take those group of trained individuals, hand them over to a teacher who is also trained and participated in that 2-day training, where they will then meet up. Last year we met up probably once every 2 to 3 weeks. They bring a little pamphlet. They go over acts of bullying and mistreatment that they've seen on campus, and we break it down. We go over how could we have made that better? How can we fix it? And what did they do to make their community better? I'm going to pass it over to one of our students so they can share their point of view on this very wonderful program.
Hello, my name is Esme Gonzalez. I will be presenting the 5 types of mistreatment in the Safe School Ambassador Program, or SSA. What a Safe School Ambassador does is they look for certain signs of mistreatment, obviously, but just things that don't seem right. And every single person, there could be anything that could be happening on the other end of their life. But we also look for the obvious things. Exclusion, you see somebody left out or sitting alone at their lunch when usually they'd be hanging out with a group of friends. Put downs would be simple, you're not good enough, or any certain, what's the word, mean comment towards somebody. When you get it. Intimidation is threat or fear. You are threatening somebody, and physical mistreatment. Physical mistreatment is anything physical, push, hit, etc. Any type of physical touch. It doesn't also have to just be physical touch. It could also just be basic, I'm not touching you, but it could invade of how you feel or if it bothers you in some way. So it doesn't have to just be physical. And acts against campus, such as vandalism, unkind acts against your community, such as campus.
Tell us What do you learn the job of the ambassador to be? What do you learn the job of the ambassador to be?
The ambassador job is community of students. It doesn't just have to be the community of Safe School Ambassadors. It can be any kind of student, to help sorry.
You're okay.
And Safe School Ambassadors is a basic program that empowers student leaders from a diverse groups on campus, such as us. It helps students like us communicate a solution with a problem with nonviolent communication and intervention skills to stop bullying and violence among their peers. It's a 2-day training course that teaches students how to instead of being a bystander, become an upstander against an aggressor, or just a simple student. Simple put downs, exclusion, teaches kids how to just, if somebody's sitting alone, go hang out with them, or, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So, good.
Our basic, how we notice 5 types of mistreatment would be to think, how to be safe in this solution, what are my options to help, and to act, and to use safe ambassador actions, ways that it will not escalate the problems in any way. And to follow through, to always pay attention, to check in, to always just make sure everything's going okay. Thank you.
Okay, so through the program, they learn the role of an ambassador. They learn what the types of mistreatment are that they could be looking for on campus. It gives them a shared language, and it gives them shared experiences. So what they learn then is, what do their action options look like? Because oftentimes things happen, students know they want to do something, but they don't quite know what that looks or sounds like, right? So the program is designed to empower students. And so we're gonna have Brianna talk about what students learn as their action options.
The ambassador's actions are, you have to balance, like, if someone was put down, maybe try to make them feel better and maybe try to forget what the other person said to them. You have to show them you care by making them feel good and making them feel like they're accepted. You have to get them to think about how they could maybe calm down and not, like, if they want to get back to the person, not make it be in a violent way, maybe just tell them, like, hey, don't do that to me. And distract them. If someone is being threatened, make them maybe distract the person that's doing it. Like, tell them, like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And if okay, and you have to get help if it gets too violent. Get an adult you trust and tell them what was happening and maybe get them to help.
My favorite thing about Safe School Ambassadors is that it really empowers the students, and it takes, some of the pressure off of them to feel like they have to be constantly reporting. You guys are probably all aware of middle school. They have a very strict code of no snitching. And what I love about Safe School Ambassadors is they don't have to always report everything that happens. They get to step in and be the upstander, like Esme said, to help their friends out and make a difference. And so, there's only 2 administrators at our site. I have 35 Safe School Ambassadors that are out there in classrooms. They see the things that I don't see, they hear the things that I don't hear, and they're able to use these strategies to make our school a safer place.
So then what follows the 2-day training is students then, the notion of this not being a one and done kind of thing, right? So the students go through this intense 2-day training, they learn these skills, and then like Tyler was saying, they get put into these family groups. And so those family groups meet on a regular basis and give the students an opportunity to talk about what they're seeing, what they're experiencing. And so next, Alaz is gonna share with you her experience as a student who became a Safe School Ambassador, who has been empowered kind of moving forward. So she's got a really beautiful story that she's gonna share that'll tell you a little bit about family groups.
As Ms. Boggs just said, I am a second-year SSA student and originally got recommended for the program by none other than Mr. Rupiper. Seventh grade was a difficult year for me in the sense that I was getting bullied a lot in my ASB class. I was the target of several other students and was constantly on the receiving end of rude put-downs and even sometimes physical bullying. It continued for a while and even led to me dropping out of the class. However, as the SSA program continued throughout the year, I started finding myself more equipped to handle these situations as they happened. SSA showed me that sticking up for yourself without putting the other person down was possible, unlike so many popular films, TV shows, and media claim today. Even when at times I felt so angry at these people, the community that SSA built around me helped me bring me back and show me that I'm not alone in this struggle. Family groups were a big part of this community. At family group meetings, we share the kinds of mistreatment we've seen around campus or encountered over the past few weeks. Everyone participates in a sort of group discussion where we all share how we address these situations and what we did that worked or areas where we could have done something more effective. This gives students a chance to learn from each other and get advice from experienced and trusted adults. The family groups strengthen connections with others, forming not just emotional intelligence, but critical thinking skills also. It teaches students how to navigate social situations that might be less than ideal and find ways to bring all sides together.
So we're looking forward to being in the second phase of this. Both middle schools have completed their annual training. We've got students 35 at Tech Middle. I don't even know how many we have at LJ this year. Ready for the next phase. They're headed into family group meetings. They're going to be keeping track of the types of mistreatment that they see, and they're upstanding and taking care of it, and learning the ways and sharing the ways that they can take care of their culture and community, which is really exciting on middle school campuses where sometimes that's a struggle. So we're really excited for the opportunity to continue to have these programs going, and we look forward to tracking our data and providing you guys with an update in the spring. So thank you for letting us share. Are there any questions?
Is this the first year?
We've had Safe School Ambassadors at both sites.
I want to say we started in
For-
2018, but then COVID kind of threw a wrench in that.
Yeah, so
So
we're
it's-
rebuilding.
yeah.
Yeah, so in Alaz's middle school experience, this would be year 2 at Lawrence Jones. So we've had the program in the district for a while, but we're back into a rebuilding phase, and we were just having a dialogue about what this might look like to build out over the years. So
I've got a couple questions. From a student perspective, what's been the most rewarding and what's been the most challenging?
go for it, Esme.
What was the question again? I think I have an answer for it.
What's been the most rewarding part of this experience?
Probably being able to learn how to stand up for myself and being able to stand up for others.
That's great. And what about most challenging?
Probably understanding the whole concept of the program, because sometimes it's kind of confusing and maybe a bit you can struggle a bit to learn some of the concepts that they're teaching.
Well, thank you all for doing that. It's great that you're stepping up.
I have one. So, are you on the campus? Do you wander around with a special hat on or something? Or
Go for it, Esme.
So, to answer that question, no, we do not wear like a vest or a hat that says SSA on it. No, we are normal students just living our normal student lives, except we are trying to basically, we are Safe School Ambassadors in student disguises.
Your cover may have been blown tonight.
Yeah, they put their hats on at their meetings. No, I'm just kidding. So they don't, and that's the concern of some of the kids when they get selected. So the students that are part of Safe School Ambassadors are nominated by their teachers to participate, and we clear it with their parents. But that's one of their concerns, is they don't want to sign up to be a hall monitor necessarily with a badge and a satchel, and they're going to be writing tickets. But better that they're learning the skills that when they do encounter those situations, they're able to handle them in a natural way that doesn't require all of the hoopla, going to student services to report or reaching out to an adult or writing a statement. They're able to kind of handle it in the moment. But that is a concern that they have, is that they do have to wear a badge and a hat.
Is this a program that could be or is active on high school campuses as well?
Do you know that answer, John?
Yeah, it is active at Rancho Cotati High School. And I can't speak for Tech High. Yes, great. Yes, thank you. So a lot of students who do it at the middle school level are invited to continue their work in high school.
That's great.
Is it considered a class, or is it more like you guys meet at lunch or after school?
It is not a class. So they are selected and they do miss 2 days of academics in order to participate in the training. And then the family group meetings happen based on the schedule that the site allows. Generally, it is at lunchtime. In past years, it's been during our SSW period or advisory or whatever.
Great.
Are those 2 days part of the ADA?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they're at
It's in
school.
Okay.
Yeah, they're at
Just to
school and they're
clarify.
completing their schoolwork.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
Eric's
okay.
very concerned about
It's
this
all very
ADA
real.
number. He just went to the budget meeting a week ago, so he knows what this number means.
Yeah. No, I promise we're not pulling
Good
35
question.
kids out at 2 sites to do that. So,
Very good.
all right. Well, we appreciate the
Thank
opportunity
you.
to share with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Every penny counts, my man.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Superintendent Ituri with a presentation on community schools.
All right. Good evening. I just wanted to share a little bit of information about community schools. There's quite a bit of money coming from the state in the next couple of years. There was some early funding this year and then additional funding happening in the next couple of years for school districts or school sites to implement the community schools model. And I just wanted to share a little bit of information about what that means, what the possibilities are. I also want to thank Lisa Bauman from RIPSIA and the school sites that we've been visiting. We've been to John Reed, and we'll be visiting Tech Middle and Thomas Page here in the next couple of days to talk to their school sites. We also found out, based on the new figures that we got today, that there are a couple of other school sites that may qualify as well, but we haven't had a chance to talk to them, so I don't want to mention names yet until we have a chance to talk to those school sites. But just a little bit about what a community school, the concept means. Often people will go, well, aren't all schools community schools? Well, in a sense, yes, but what a community school, how a community school differs is it has certain features that are required to be considered a community school. So what are we trying to solve? We have families and students that need more support. That has just accelerated since we had wildfires starting in 2017, and the pandemic has not done us any favors, and those needs are just increasing. And schools are, for the most part, have become places where families go. They feel like they're safe places for families to be. They trust their teachers, they trust their principals, and it's where they come often for more than an academic experience. When I was a principal at an elementary school, we often had parents coming in with everything from trying to figure out their registration for something to needing help scheduling a dental appointment. so families need more support, and they often come to the school because they trust us, which is, says a lot for our school sites and the personnel that we have working in them. The four, as I mentioned, there's some qualities that a community school is required. That there's integrated student supports, there's family and community engagement, that there's an expanded and enriched learning opportunity, and that we have collaborative leadership practices. We have a lot of these things in place, but it's kind of tying a bow on it, and it's receiving some resources to help you do that. I'll go into a little bit more about what each of these pillars means. So the integrated student supports, it can be academic, it can be social emotional, mental health. You often, a response to that one would be to perhaps have a family resource center or a wellness center on a campus. John Reed currently has a family resource center. I went and met with them the other day, and they have helped with immigration, they've helped with rent, they've helped with legal advocacy, food, diapers, I mean, the list goes on. They've helped about 150 families since school began, and families are coming from other places because they know we have this resource center seeking help. So it's a big need. Again, family and community engagement, that you're really reaching out into the community to understand what their needs are, and that you're bringing them into the school to help to provide them with opportunities. I'm gonna, at the end of this, I'll paint a picture of what a community school can look like. But again, this could be home visits, homeschool collaboration, and your family resource center can also provide those services. The leadership and collaboration is that you're using your leadership teams, that you're collaborating with your families, you're maybe collaborating with your community partners. So you're building partnerships to help provide services. Because once the funding goes away, you really have to rely on some of those community partnerships to make the work continue. And then we have an outstanding extended learning opportunity currently going with our ELOP money. I was in the ELOP office today and looking at all the different opportunities that we're offering our students. So we really have a robust system there. This would enhance that. Again, community schools, there's a couple of things. I think one of the things that is striking for me with a community school is that kids show up to school and it's a safe place for them, and they show up to be the best they can be. And sometimes their behavior, all behavior is communication. They're communicating something to us. And often when you see students who are having a hard time, they're communicating something to us. They're trying to tell us that something isn't right or that they need help. And a community school with a family resource center, with the resources on a campus, you can have a warm handoff and provide that family with some support that they may be in need of. It also contributes lower absenteeism, better work habits, higher enrollment in college prep classes, higher graduation rates. So the family resource center and the community school concept is in service to higher academic success. But it takes all of that for our kids to be successful in school. There's a video, I won't play it because but it's available if you'd like. There's several videos on our school campuses, or on the website. CTA has put one out. CTA is very supportive of this initiative, and so it's a nice partnership with our teachers. When I was a principal at El Verano, we had a community schools model. We started with a preschool. We had a preschool for 24 littles. And then we recognized our families needed more support. We got a dental hygienist, a mobile dental hygienist that came and cleaned teeth. And I was like, oh, there's something that's happening here. People are needing us in different ways. The families raised about $8,000 to hire a family engagement coordinator, and we were able to open a family resource center for 2 days a week. By the time I left, our budget was up to $250,000, and we had evening classes for parents. We had after-school an after-school orchestra, a ballet folklorico group. Our teachers were receiving really high-quality professional development. Our Family Resource Center focused on mental health and was providing resources for our families, in addition to several other things, but that was generally their focus. And we had community organizations. Instead of me knocking on doors, people were knocking on our door because they saw what we were doing and wanted to be a part of it. So there's an opportunity to apply for some funding. There are some schools that qualify here. We're waiting to hear from staff to make sure that they're interested, because it is a commitment on the behalf of the staff and the principal to provide these services on the school campus for our families. So I just wanted to inform you on, it does meet our LCAP goals. It does provide that social emotional support, which leads to academic support. So we just wanted to provide you with the information tonight, and then at the end of the presentation, there's several links that provide more information. We also are gonna go visit a school in Marin County that's a community school so that we can see one in action. The RFP comes out in November and the grant is due in February. So that's our timeline.
Great.
Any questions?
So how does this change like a day in the life of a teacher? Do they take on more responsibilities? Are they
Yeah,
required to do more things?
Great question. So that was one of the questions at one of the school sites. It did not, where it impacted teachers is we were providing more professional development, so it was helping them grow as professionals, which they welcomed. You may be asked to use your classroom at night. Maybe we offer an immigration class, or we're gonna offer a class, but we always look for volunteers for that. I think where it impacts a teacher is that they can call you often have maybe a navigator in your office or a community liaison that you can call and say, hey, I know that little Johnny needs some help, or the family needs some help. Can you reach out to them? So it provides or there may be a mental health counselor. Now you can make more referrals to that mental health counselor because you've got additional support on the campus. I had additional office support, additional mental health support, and those were some things that were identified by the school site. So the school does identify what their needs are, and then we design the grant around that. One of the things that it can be bothersome to teachers is if we want to use your classroom at night for a class, that can be then there'll be more parents on campus, right? Because we're inviting them in, but they're often in the Family Resource Center utilizing that space and getting support.
And I can imagine it would help the teachers too, because it's helping the students, which has that cumulative effect.
Yes, it does.
Remind me, how long is the proposed grant funding?
I think it's at least a 4-year, maybe a 5-year opportunity. So, and it's broken down by, most of our schools qualify in the $250,000 to $300,000 range. And I think it decreases as the years go through. So that's why you're building those partnerships, to try to build that sustainability. We have a pretty good partnership with CPI right now, SOS, and some other partnerships that we're building. And I also believe that we'll be able to get resources from other areas that'll want to come in and partner with us.
I know we're talking about elementary schools and middle schools. Are high schools?
Our high school does not qualify under at the rate. They have to be at least 50%, and over 60 is better, because it'll be highly competitive. But our high school, I think, is at around 45% right now, so it doesn't quite meet that. But our alt ed program perhaps qualifies. So, yeah. Although, well, a high school we can benefit from some of the partnerships that we develop through these other organizations. There may be some other services that we can transfer into our high school for additional support.
So if there's a high schooler at Tech High who has a younger sibling at John Reed, and we know that the mobile dental clinic is going to be at John Reed, could that high schooler get services, or no, do you have to be a student of that school?
No, I think that it's open to the family. Yeah, I really think it's, when we started it, where I was principal, we were so limited on resources. We put El Verano families first and anybody else who came in. But I think with this, and after talking to CPI yesterday, they do serve several schools in the area. It's not just John Reed.
My only concern would be I don't want to bring this really great program to one school and then other people are excluded from
Yeah.
the services where it's, and if that's the way it has to be, I understand. But
Yeah.
it'd be great if, oh, that was not locked, sorry.
I think there's some flexibility.
Great. Any other questions? No? All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Joy.
All right, reports and communication. Student board member reports. For Tech High School, Naomi Hernandez.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Being here tonight will allow me to showcase for the first time what Technology High School student life is like by capturing pictures. The pictures that someday many students will look back on. I have included pictures of my own, but I also wouldn't have done it with Matt and Tracy. Thank you for helping me with the pictures. Okay. I would like to begin by going over some of the events from my last report. Club Rush happened on September 6th. Each student took the time to create their own personal posters for their booths to advertise more about their clubs. As of now, each student has begun having their meetings and planning their upcoming activities. Here's more, as you can see. Okay, and the mixer took place on September 8th. It allows students to play games, dance, or participate in our very famous volleyball tournament. Students were able to interact with their classmates from all grades, as well as staff members who were chaperoning. With the pictures, it helps to showcase grades as well as staff members who were there. With the pictures, we want them to enjoy their experience at Technology High School and create memories with their long-lasting friendships. And then we also had one of our many careers that Ms. Juarez plans on doing this school year. Students walked around during their free time, taking time to learn about programs that many universities offered. It allowed them to ask questions, allowing students to start thinking about their future. And then the prom committee, journalism class, and many other sports have had bake sales to raise funds for their individual needs. Each one of them has been successful. It gives students a chance to go out from their comfort zone, but most importantly, this showcases the efforts students make to raise money for their events they want to accomplish. Where is it? Okay. It makes me truly happy to announce that we will be our second year partnering with Runner Park Chick-fil-A to host our Million Book giveaway to John Reed students. We began the process on September 13. Runners Park Chick-fil-A took the time to prepare us a Chick-fil-A box that contained potato chips, a sandwich, a cookie, and of course the famous Chick-fil-A sauce. And this time we were able to do team building activities together as a class, organize the books, along with learning more about the leadership that allowed each one of us to start thinking about the impacts we want to make in our community. Each one of us wrote a goal we want to accomplish this year, as you can see on the image on the left. Many of them were personal goals, but others want to accomplish outreach events. I can't wait to see what my classmates will accomplish. My classmates selected me to be the Leader Academy ambassador, just as I did last year. I will oversee the details that are necessary to make this a memorable event. I would like to take a moment and invite you guys. I hope you guys can join us on November 15. The time is still to be determined, but we are looking forward to making it a positive impact. As you can see, I left some invitations there. And then on September 15 was our very first time having a lunch rally and was also our first blue and white Spirit Day of the year. Our student body all gathered together to watch our teachers get pied on the face with whipped cream. We'd like to thank our teachers for agreeing and allowing us to enjoy this moment. All you can see is how happy the students are, and it was a very great time being there. And then blood drive was on October 3rd. We had a total of 19 registered donors who collected 8 whole bloods, 2 RBC, and 1 plasma, meaning 17 life-saving units were collected. To reward our students who donated, we had stickers, pizza, candy. And then it was also our first time having sale on merchandise items in our student store. The Armory had a sale with the purpose of selling items that their works have been there for a really long time. And this allowed for Tech High School students to have more merch. So that can bring more of a spirit when it's Spirit Day. And then we had a total of $209. And we plan to invest this money on having the student body to create new designs that they would like to showcase as Tech High merch. And then also, Tech High welcomed astronaut Nicole Mann this month as well. Our students all enjoyed having her as a guest speaker. It allowed the students to connect with her as well as asking questions about her experience and asking how realistic the moon is compared to what they show in the movies. And then each student was all very excited and many were curious, and this gave them opportunity to learn more about the subject, and it actually inspired many to want to become. And then the AP School Honor Roll recognized schools who have done outstanding work to welcome more students into AP courses and support them on their path to college success. Technology High School was recognized with the AP award, which honors schools that encourage more low-income and underrepresented minority students to take an AP courses. The percentage of students in these categories who took at least one AP course exam before graduation, and also it allows them to become more prepared about how college work life is. And we're all very proud of each single student who had taken the time and effort to be in these courses, and also for taking that exam. And this kind of leads up to our famous Brandon, that Tech High is extremely proud to have him as a student, and we're all very exciting to see what more accomplishes he will in the future. And then we also have Josie Hill. I would like to recognize her tonight. She's a freshman breaking cross-country records and now ranks second best of all time for Technology High leaderboards, making the top 10 of cross-country girl runners this season. Her motivation is to beat her previous times and loves to race. Her teammates and captains can't wait to see what she does in the future. And last Thursday was senior night for Ava Sanchez. She is the captain of the girls volleyball team. If you have the chance to meet Ava, she is kind and a very optimistic person. It was a night that allowed her teammates and coaches to celebrate Ava on her last homecoming game. And then also here are some pictures of our girls volleyball, girls soccer, and also boys soccer. And then for girls soccer, their senior night will be happening this Friday at their last home game versus Tamales at 3. And then for boys soccer, their senior night will be happening this Friday as well versus their home game at Point Arena at 4:30. And an overview that we have been working on ASB has been class is senior picnic, giving birthday cards, as you can see on the left, each ASB student signatures. And also, I have been keeping the student body informed by doing Tech High Titan videos that are shown during Wednesday during advisory. I also try to involve the student body by having more engagement segments. It can be as simple as them asking them just a question oh, hey, what are you listening to? And then I just record them. And it's to also have them be informed about Tech High events, but then also adding a little bit more of a segment for funny. That way it keeps student engaged throughout their watching the video. And then, which brings me to showcase our YouTube channel and our Instagram account. If you're interested, follow at the Real Tech High. And there, what I do is I post about our upcoming events, and then I have been starting to do Tiny Mics with Naomi, which basically I just go up to students and I ask them about how they're doing, or like really anything. And I think a lot of students have been loving this, because it's a fun way to, not only me to interact, but it also like brings more the community involved with it, which I think it's really great. And then lastly, I would like to show one of the many friendships there are at Tech High. Our school, being a small community, allows each student to build many connections that will last throughout high school. I have seen many graduating seniors who still spend time with their friends that they made at Tech High. And then for our upcoming events is Homecoming, which is going to take place on October 28th. Our theme for this year is Hollywood. Royalty nominations have begun. We are counting down the days and are working hard to provide students with one of the best nights. To follow the excitement of Homecoming, we have Spirit Week building up to it. Monday 23 will be anything but a backpack day. Tuesday 24 will be Twin Day. Wednesday 25th will be you dress up as a celebrity, or you can also wear like really comfortable clothes. And then on Thursday 26th will be a 90s throwback Thursday. And then Friday will be a Barbie and Ken Day, which is Pink Day too, to show support for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And that is all for this this report. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Naomi. That's wonderful. All right, and then for Rancho Cotati, we have Alyssa Kangraga filling in today for us.
Sorry, hold on 1 second. Here, yeah, maybe I don't. Yeah, it's girls volleyball right now. Oh, perfect. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Alyssa Kangraga, and I will be filling in for Sammy Petrie, our Vice President this year. I am this year's Social Media and Publicity Commissioner, and I am really excited to share with you Sammy's slideshow. Okay, so campus life. Okay, so one of our most recent events was at the end of September. We had a community celebration for our mural that was painted by students on our campus in the MECHA and BSU clubs at our school. The MECHA club is for Latin and Hispanic groups, and the BSU club is the Black Society Union. It was really a great time. It had a great turnout around all of the community. We had vendors, clubs supporting with traditional ethnic foods, as well as dancers, which was really cool because our school definitely emphasizes the importance of unity and just enhancing and really embracing all different cultures. So yeah, it's just a cool way to really bring all different students together and celebrate differences. Okay, Nicole Mann. So on September 21st, we welcomed Nicole Mann. It was really an honor having a Rancho alumni that has done so many great things come and share her experiences with us at school. There was many students that got selected to get to ask her questions in front of the whole school in our assembly, and in the right you'll see Casey, our mascot, got to take fun pictures with her. At the end of the rally, she also was gifted her soccer jersey that she wore and played with when she was a student here at Rancho. by the robotics team. But yeah, it was a really great opportunity and definitely a good reminder to never stop reaching for the stars. Okay, Making Connections Conference. So this year, Making Connections Conference was held at Santa Rosa High School, which is basically where all the student bodies get together and work on basically making connections, becoming better leaders. We had multiple leadership games. We had a public speaker, Phil Campbell from, I believe, Tennessee, and that was really cool. It was basically an all-day thing. We missed school, and it was just a really cool way to meet other students from different student councils and basically just build off of things that we could be doing in the future. Okay, issues updates. So 2 weeks ago, we had our ribbon week, which every single day we wear a different color for spirit points. And it's basically a fun way to raise awareness on different things going on. So Monday we wore purple for domestic violence awareness. Tuesday we wore red for drugs and alcohol awareness. Wednesday we wore rainbow for LGBTQ plus awareness. Thursday we wore blue for anti-bullying, and green we wore on Friday for mental health awareness. Oh, there we go. So yeah, those are just some pictures of some ASB students showing off their spirit, and on the left, our Students Resource Officer is something that we definitely take pride in having. She's amazing, and she gave a presentation about domestic violence, thank you, sorry. And on the right, bottom right, you'll see a picture of our EdCore Club giving a presentation on drugs and alcohol awareness, which is amazing. They do a lot of presentations throughout the school year, just bringing awareness, and are really big on mental health. So Flash, the staff member that basically runs the club, is also one of our counselors on campus, and he's really great. Everyone loves him. He's definitely a big support in our school. Oh, and then on the very right, you'll see all of our hotlines that are posted around school. And yeah, we have lots of resources as well as peer helping, which I know one of the presenters earlier also touched on that going on at LJ and Tech Middle School. We have peer helping, which is a really cool opportunity. Students also are considered Safe School Ambassadors, and they go through a course to basically be able to help students one-on-one. There's QR codes posted around school where if you need to talk to somebody maybe your age might be less intimidating than an adult, you can scan the QR code and make an appointment with a student. You can pick the gender if you'd rather talk to someone more similar to you or whatever. And yeah, it's just a really cool way to get more in touch and feel safer and more comfortable at our school. Okay, our pink games. So last week was basically a whole week of pink. Yeah, so every single Spirit Week we do Spirit Days where students from ASB will check into classrooms and collect Spirit points if you are wearing the appropriate attire. So yeah, last week we did celebrate breast cancer. Every single sports or fall sports team going on right now had at least one pink game, some even a couple. And yeah, so those are some of our posts that were on our Instagram, which I'm actually in charge of, so it's kind of fun to get to show that. But yeah, and it's also cool, our school does take Spirit points, and we basically compete by class. So whoever wins the most or has the most Spirit points at the end of the school year gets a fun party. So it just encourages students to support more important causes. And when we are going in for drop-ins to collect Spirit points, we're also passing bags around right now to raise money for NBCA, which is the North Bay Cancer Alliance, which is basically just supporting cancer patients in the area with auxiliary care, such as transportation, rent, food, etc. Okay, students and staff recognition. Okay, so this month's theme is respect. So these are just the students that were recognized. And in the picture, there's our mascot, Casey, just holding on to the last bit of sunshine in his Hawaiian outfit. Okay, and then athletes. So every single week on Monday, I post Athlete of the Week, which is a fun way to recognize an athlete that really just shined in some of the last games, whether that's performance or just really being a supportive and good teammate. This is selected based on the coaches and our athletics commissioners, based off of, yeah, like I said, performance and all of that. So that's pretty cool. Giovanni Ortiz in the top middle actually just broke an all-time record of rushing 300 yards and getting 4 touchdowns in one game. So that was a really exciting accomplishment for him as well. Okay, Talent of the Week. So Talent of the Week is a little bit different. It's also a weekly post, but it is something where you're nominated through students. So there's also QR codes around school. So if you would like to nominate a student, you can, and it's totally a surprise. So it's pretty fun. We've had singers, dancers, artists, and you wouldn't really know unless you're close to them. So it's another cool way that we recognize school students around campus. Okay, Rancho Staff Spotlight. So another weekly post. We'd like to recognize one staff member every single week. This is nominated by students and other staff members, and it's just a cool way to basically introduce them. We ask them questions, and that is on the post with their answers. So yeah, it's just a fun way to support and show our staff that we are grateful for them. Okay, upcoming events. Okay, Haunt My House. So Haunt My House is a fundraiser that we do every single year. Our ASB advisor, Mrs. Holman, is really big on it. She loves this time of year, so it's a fun way for us to fundraise. Basically, it costs $25. Many adults in the community will pay us to come and decorate their yard, and it's just a fun way to get in touch, make those connections, and yeah, just have some Halloween spirit. Okay, yeah. Homecoming Spirit Week. So this week is actually our homecoming week. So yesterday was Pajama Day, today was Disney Day, and it was kind of cool because today when we did drop-ins, if someone was dressed up as a Disney character, we gave them 2 points. So that was pretty cool. Tomorrow is going to be a little throwback 90s day. Thursday is salad dressing day, which I don't believe we've ever done before. So freshmen are French dressing, which is French flag colors, berets, etc. Sophomores are Thousand Island, which is tropical wear. Juniors are ranch, which is Western wear. Seniors are Caesar salad, which is, you could kind of go about it 2 ways. You could either do like the Greek life side of it, more sororities, frats, or you can do togas and very like traditional, you know, Caesar kind of outfits. And then staff are blue cheese, so they will be wearing blue. And then Friday is Rancho Blowout, just the classic red, white, and blue. And then, yeah, I don't think that video is going to work, unfortunately. Oh, maybe it will, actually. Maybe not. Okay, it's okay, we could skip it. Every single time we have like a big spirit week, we put a video together in ASB just to give other students examples. So it's just a fun little video. We usually have a mascot in it, and yeah, that's all that was. Okay, homecoming and homecoming proposal contest. So this is something that we haven't done in a few years, but this year we're bringing it back. We are doing a contest, so students are proposing and they're sending pictures to a different Instagram account that we just created, and basically the winner will actually, today is the last day to send in the pictures and videos of your proposal, and we will be voting on the winner. And the first place winner will receive 2 free tickets to homecoming, and then the second place winner will receive 1 free homecoming ticket. So it's just kind of a fun way to also get involved and show our spirit. But yeah, thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Trustee reports on activities. Trustee Johnson. Report. Okay. Trustee Martin?
Yes, I had the privilege of coming to the Rancho Cotati High School open house, and it was neat to see all the families there. And I also came to the community celebration for the mural, and I had an incredible flauta lunch. It was very yum. I was impressed with the amount of elected officials there, as well as the ambassadors from different consulates. And what struck me most about the mural is just the quality of work that was done, and how the cougar was in the middle, uniting everybody. It was a neat symbol of unity. And I went to the superintendent budget advisory meeting, so I've got ADA and dollars and pennies on my brain, and as well as the facility meeting, which was an eye-opener.
Very good. Trustee Brown?
So I'm going to add a little bit on the facility meeting,
Yeah.
little history report here. So we're at the end of our bond money. So we have passed in this district 3 bond issues totaling, 80 each time, or was 185? I forget. But roughly $240 million that we've spent on facilities and other things. And so I just want to talk a little bit about perspective. I ran the first campaign back in '90, a few years ago, and then other people stepped up and ran the other ones. We have built amazing stuff for our district at the same time, but at the same time, our PG&E bill has gone as rates have gone up in our more facilities, and we have roughly the same number of students, from 60,000 a month to 120,000 roughly ballpark a month. So along with these facilities come cost. And out of our roughly $95 million budget, we have most of that goes to staffing and a little portion goes to facilities. So, but to maintain these facilities, as I look at this floor, it's not broken, but it's wear and tear, and it takes money from that type of thing. So one of the concerns I have, and I've always had, I have in my personal life too, is when the transmission in the car goes out, where's the money going to come to pay for that type of thing? And when my insurance rate goes up, or my insurance just got canceled on a home that I own because it's in a high fire severity area. So the district, to have a master plan for all the facilities for a long-term process, requires us to do, what do you call it? I call it you have a survey, you have pardon me? A community, but you hire kind of a consultant to plan out a demographics, or I don't know if demographics is the right thing, but kind of pardon me? A feasibility report, but a master plan. So I've had the fortunate experience of being on this board, but the unfortunate thing of being on this board when we had to vote and close schools because up and down of the populations. We have been fairly fortunate in our district to remain somewhat stable in housing, and we haven't priced ourselves, or at least this community hasn't priced ourselves out of the market like Healdsburg or Sebastopol or Sonoma or Petaluma, where the housing cost is so is going up so dramatically that people can't afford there, so therefore their ADAs drop. Sonoma's hurting because of that, Healdsburg and other places. So we kind of have to keep our eye out at that to see where we're going type of thing, so we don't fall into, and then the economy. I mean, look at the job market now And 20 years ago, the major employers were kind of the tech people. You had Oakley. I worked for that little company called Hewlett Packard, where we had 6,000 employees, and now they've changed their name several times, and they're down to 1,000, so 5,000 jobs are gone. And if you look at the major employers in Sonoma County, it's healthcare and the county and government jobs type of thing. So there aren't, so the job market has somewhat stabilized. We're not seeing, as you see layoffs in the paper and stuff like that of, you know, companies in the Bay Area tech thing. So that doesn't scare me as much. But what, you know, scares me is where's our ADA going, and, you know, or the master plan going forward, where we're going to be in 5 years or in 10 years. I mean, are we going to be generating the same number of kindergartners and TK students that we have, you know, graduating? I mean, I had 3 boys that went through the system. 2 don't live in the area because of, you know, jobs. One is fortunate enough to be in the financial end of it, and he can stay and work here type of thing. But if you look at your, you know, those of us that have kids, where are they going to live? You know, are they going to live with us forever, you know, in your house? Are they going to branch out? Or are they going to seek employment elsewhere? And so if the demographics change and people stay in there, what I'm getting to, and then our population starts dropping off, I mean, ADA is our key, you know, in our $95 million budget. So I've got the fortunate experience and unfortunate experience. I've been on this board for 30 years, so I've seen the waves type of thing. So part of the thing, getting back to the facilities committee, we're kind of at the end of that spending thing. We're not, you know, but we still have to have dollars. So I don't know. The community, you know, we go out and do surveys. We're working on a parcel tax, but unfortunately, the state doesn't do a real good job of funding schools for facilities. You know, they kind of look at that. They do funding, and when they do bonds, it's really hard to build facilities out of that. So it just concerns me that we're almost out of bond money, and there's a lot of needs, whether it be, you know, solar to make our PG&E bill reasonable, maintenance ongoing, you know, building a universal TK facilities. There's just a lot of stuff. Replacing all our technology, because we've spent a bunch of money on bond money on technology, and it's expensive for that. But what's the plan down the road when my car breaks? Do I have money to buy a new car? Do I have money to buy new computers and servers and other, you know, technology changes? I love tonight's presentation. Excellent with the PowerPoint. I mean, and what you're doing is fantastic. But that costs money to support, you know, and going and to replace servers and stuff. So I'm just concerned about the future and money. And I joked with John here saying, it came back, we solved all our problems. We got a printing press that prints money, but probably not really feasible. So so out of that facilities meeting, you know, just struck a bunch of, you know, concerns, you know, fears, planning, and how do you maintain the infrastructure that we have? And you think about it, as you get your first asset, you buy your first car, you know, who's going to, you know, when, you know, how do I change the oil? How do I have the money to change the oil to get a job? You know, breaks down. I can think of my first car that I had, and you guys probably don't even know, but there's something called retreads. So when I was a kid, you know, a teenager, I didn't buy new tires because I couldn't afford them. I bought retreads, which was a tire that was cheaper than had retreads. You know, not the safest thing in the world, but so it's just that, you know, I don't want to put retreads on our vehicles for the district, you know, type of thing. So, but I want to make sure that we have the funds, so we're not but using more money of the general fund that should go to curriculum and education and teachers and staff and stuff. So it's a juggling game, and it's a planning game. So, and for those, you know, 2 of you have been here for 2 years, and one of you, or 2 of you are really, you know, less than a year. So I just want to, you know, kind of educate and share the fact that we've got a long-term plan, and it's a long-term goal. And, you know, same thing with curriculum and everything else. But it concerns me as to, you know, how do we fulfill our needs going forward without doing another bond issue? And then whether or not our community will support that. And thank you to the community for supporting all those bonds and paying for these facilities. It shows the support of our community. So that's a long-winded explanation of the facilities meeting, but it brought up a lot of concerns that I thought I'd share, because those days of closing Goldrich, closing La Fiesta, closing the middle school, closing Crane were not fun days. And that was just because, I mean, 2008, major recession, jobs going away, ADA going from 8,000 down to, you know, 6,000. So, you know, and how do you afford that? So anyway, we just have to plan for that and be aware of that going forward. So sorry to bring up planning news, but it's something we need to address.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Trustee Nelson?
I think we had a canceled committee meeting, so I don't have anything currently to report on other than future DLAC and LCAP committee meetings.
Cool. I went with Trustee Martin to the budget committee meeting. It was great seeing everybody there too. We had union partners there, we had teachers, parents, staff. It was nice to be able to see everybody in one room and having an open dialogue. So thank you, John, and everybody that came to that. We'll continue on, and John can tell us all the fun stuff the state's doing this month and keep us updated.
Michelle, just one other I want to congratulate our Tech High student that got that acknowledgement for that, and the two Han students for their performance. So I just want to relate, you know, I was a professor at Sonoma State at one time, and I remember as I taught, I would get these brilliant students, and it would be scary at first, like, they know more than I do. You know, how do I teach them? How do I share with them? And I got to share one secret, kind of a confession. My test in things when I was teaching accounting classes and managerial accounting classes were all kind of essay type of thing. And so I would take my key, and then when the students would take, you know, the test, my age or older or younger or whatever, one student, I would always, you know, compare my key to their key, and I always missed things. so because that student was just brilliant, you know. So if you can share brilliance that way, it helped me. So I will never forget that. You know, I thought, am I cheating? You know, here's the key. I thought I had all the answers, and I'm the professor, and the student was like smarter than I was, which is great. I applaud that. So congratulations to that student and the two Han students and all the other students out there that we're not seeing tonight. So anyway, that's it.
Great. All right. Superintendent report.
Okay. So I have this kind of divided by students, families, staff, and organizations. So I was fortunate to be interviewed by Lynn Bear at Tech High School. He had done his research and knew a little bit about my work, and so it was great to connect with him. I also met with a couple of students and hope to be out more with the students here in the very near future. Families, I was fortunate to be able to meet with John Reed, Marguerite Hahn, university families, and I will continue to cycle through the schools. I was also really fortunate, as I mentioned earlier, to be at the Family Resource Center and got to learn a lot about their work. We have DLAC tomorrow, which I'm excited to be a part of that meeting as well. At the staff level, I've been able to be at Evergreen, John Reed, Tech High, Richard Crane, Marguerite Hahn, University, Monte Vista, just in the staff room and just listening to what people have to say. There are definitely some themes and some trends starting to appear. I'm also have been fortunate to be able to go to some PLC meetings and see the great work that the teachers are doing. We had a little admin celebration, drove around and thanked all the admin teams at the school sites for Admin Week. And I've been working on setting goals with some of our staff and administration. And our as far as organizations, the Ed Foundation. I was at the Public Emergency Response Team meeting with our public safety partners. I've met with our city manager and our mayor, public safety Chief Mattos. I'm hoping to get in front of the city council and Rotary and sports teams and our chamber here in the very near future. And we're going to help educate folks on our parcel tax that's coming up in March. And that is a brief summary of what's been happening. So thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next up, Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association report. I think we have President Bauman here.
Hi, good evening. I think I've been at meetings with all of you in the last month. It has been a wild ride. It has been a crazy month. I feel like it's been a lot longer than a month since the last time I was here. So good evening, President Wing, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Itori, and other district staff, and our school board members, our student school board members. So I'd like to, when I do my report, talk about some of the great things that our teachers are doing out there. At El Camino High School, the students are doing a skateboards of education class. They have been gluing up veneers and pressing them using atmospheric pressure, design, and cutting outlines and decorating each skateboard. It's really cool. And after seeing the students do their slideshows, I'll have to send you some of the pictures because they really are great. So each student created a brand and wrote a business plan, and they're planning on exhibiting their work at SSU. As an integrated class, they earn credits in a variety of areas, including art and math, physical science, and economics. So this was a really great project that pulled all of those things together. They also took an elective called Work Ready, where they're engaged in a number of different units, creating a budget and comparing it to minimum wage earnings, job market trends, work-ready skills, professional communications, job applications and resumes. So they're really, preparing themselves for the future. Our college and career counselor, Jess Hazelwood, organized an SRJC workshop for the ELCO students to help them complete their applications for the JC, and they learned about the different certificates and educational opportunities that await them. Han, Richard Crane, John Reed, Monte Vista, UELF, and Tech Middle, and LJ all participated in the Chalk Off social media, and if you haven't had a chance to look at their drawings, they're super cute. And that's put on by the Sahoria Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics, and I think the voting closed today, but the winner gets $250 for their school or their classroom, I'm not quite sure. John Reed had their walkathon last week, and at Evergreen, these are the pictures I really have to send you. The kindergartners did an apple unit. They studied the parts of an apple, the life cycle of an apple. They tasted green, yellow, and red apples and then graphed their favorite colors. They got the apples from Rochelle, who brought in 100 apples from her orchard, and they used those to conduct apple science experiments like sinking or floating, which liquid best stops the apples from turning brown, and apple volcanoes, which I'm very curious to learn more about. And finally, each student was able to peel and core an apple, and they made their own applesauce and apple pie for their apple feast, and they voted and graphed their favorite apple foods: applesauce, apple pie, apple juice, or apple slices. So lots of really great things going on in our classrooms. I've also been on the site visit tour, and I've got one left, but it really has been illuminating for me and such a pleasure going to the sites and hearing all of the great things that my colleagues are doing in their classrooms, and to also, hear about the challenges that they're facing. And I hope that all of you have an opportunity to get out there and see what's going on too. In other news, we've been doing a lot of bargaining lately. RIPSIA and the district bargaining teams negotiated 2 different MOUs in the last month and a half or 2 months. The first was for compensation for covering another teacher's class when a substitute teacher cannot be secured. As I'm sure you're aware, there's not a lot of substitute teachers out there, knocking on our door to come and take care of our classes when we can't be there. So in the spring, the high schools included in their MOUs the option to time card coverage when you cover another teacher's class. But this wasn't something in the elementary MOUs, and then the middle school MOUs failed for various reasons. So the district actually had, the insight to see, everyone should have those same opportunities of how they want to be compensated. And so we drafted an MOU together to add this language for all teachers to in the district. And additionally, we also tried to address the burden of losing prep time for our elementary teachers who only get 90 minutes of prep a week by including language that allowed for them to request their prep time to be made up. With the exception of Richard Crane, who's been on their fall break until this week, the voting has concluded, and we'll be able to announce the results of the MOU next week to everybody. The two bargaining teams also met several times to draft an MOU updating language for adjunct duty. Adjunct duties are activities that do not pertain to a teacher's specific classroom duties. We can be asked to complete up to 20 hours of adjunct duties. The MOU defines more about the type of activities that can be considered adjunct, as well as puts in a place for a protocol for determining what activities are needed at each site. I'll be honest, this has been the source of some pretty tough conversations among our members. For years, adjunct duties were entirely supervisory in nature, so like athletic events and plays and dances. And so therefore it was seen that was something that was pretty much just a secondary thing. At the elementary levels, teachers have been doing adjunct duty by volunteering for things, but not calling it adjunct. And so with the addition of committee work that was added to the CBA in 2022, all teachers then became formally accountable for these hours. And so while the MOU gives our educators voice and choice, a potential additional 20 hours outside of our workday feels like a very heavy burden to many. And our jobs have become increasingly difficult since COVID, and this just adds one more thing to that feeling of being really weighted down with all of the additional things we're doing to take care of our kids in our classroom. On a lighter note, on October 3rd, I attended a California Labor Management Initiative meeting with the superintendent, Jen Hansen, John Bartolome, and CSEA President John Geck. So it's, the short version of it is CalMI, which it doesn't look like that when you see the letters. I always want to call it Call Me, like calm me down. But so what this initiative is it aids in establishing a partnership of management and labor leaders focused on improving district culture and climate and better outcomes for students, staff, parents, and the community. So the philosophy of this initiative is that improving these outcomes requires strong, consistent, and sustained collaboration among school unions and management leaders. So I know that we had a great time. We really did a lot of hard work that day, and I left there feeling very inspired and hopeful. And together we already, have kind of talked about like who should be on this team and what we see as some of the biggest challenges in the district. And I truly look forward to this partnership and hope that, and I think Michelle, you're gonna join us. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think if we're gonna solve some of these tough problems, the only way we're gonna do it is together. So thank you. Last week, Superintendent Utori and I visited John Reed to discuss the possibility of establishing community schools, and they asked a lot of good questions. They were, very engaged, and then I saw a bunch of those same people later in the day, and they could not stop talking about it. So they are super jazzed and excited about what this could mean for their campus. So I'm really excited to keep going and visiting the other campuses with the superintendent, and hopefully we can, do something with this. It sounds like an incredible opportunity if we can get those grants. So in closing, I just want to say we know
that there are many challenges facing educators and our school community today, and I think we're laying the foundation for meaningful partnership and collaboration, and we hope the board will be involved with this too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I apologize for sneaking out of here now, but we have
No, you're
grades due tomorrow, so.
No, you're okay.
Good night.
I thought you were gonna go watch the volleyball game behind us, because we can hear it, and it sounds, I hope it, by the cheers, it's going well.
Yes.
Wonderful. Receipt of official correspondence, Sonoma County Office of Education approval letter for the adopted budget 23-24.
So this is the standard letter that we received from the county approving our budget.
Okay. It's been received.
Go take a break after that. Okay.
All right, we are going to take, we'll do a 5-minute break, and we will come back. Well, let's just come back at 7:45. That's like 7 minutes. Sounds good. We will call the meeting back to order. Public comment items not on the agenda. We did receive a request for public comment from Mr. Garcia, who wanted to give the board information on a new Assembly Bill number 278. So he wasn't able to stay for the evening, but he has given the board information on that. All right. Consent agenda. We have items A through H. We're going to skip over I and then do J through Q. So can I get a motion to approve A through Q with the exception of I?
I move we approve as such.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Educational services. Approval of adoption of course descriptions for Technology High.
Okay, so we have several classes from Technology High. Their course descriptions. The 3 NGSS, that's Next Generation Science Standards classes, they've been reshaped to incorporate the new NGSS science standards within them, and then also a journalism and an AP computer science class.
Right. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve 9A, approval of adoption of course descriptions for Technology High School?
I move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Acknowledging a report submitted to the California Department of Education.
So these are just 2 reports that are due annually, one on our Title III English Learner Program and one on our Universal Pre-K Planning and Implementation Grant, and giving them an update on where we are and if anything has changed.
Great. Any questions? All right. So acknowledged. Item 10, Personnel Services. Approval of provisional internship permit for Counseling Enriched Education Specialist at LJMS.
Yes, we have Granville Morris in that position, and he received his credential in Louisiana, and he's interested in staying in the position, and he's taking the necessary coursework to achieve that here in California, and so we're asking for the PIP.
Great. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the provisional internship permit for Counseling Enriched Education Specialist at LJMS?
I'll move to approve the PIP.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. No business and operation services, board services, fiscal update and planning.
I have the enrollment update for you for the month of September. We had a whole 1 student difference between September and August. We had 32 kids enter, 2 from private schools, 21 from out of county country, and 9 from within the county, and then 31 exit, 4 to private, 8 to out of county country, and 8 within the county, and 11 other.
John, I have a question.
Yep.
Refresh my memory. SDC in elementary went from 78 to 119. Is that kids that are sick or
Special day class.
Oh, okay, special day class. So why the increase of 41 there?
Well, the person who could probably answer that just left.
She left.
But
My
I'll
guess
get you
is
an
it has
answer.
to do with
I'll get you an
placements from the beginning of the
Is that a
year.
reclassification or something? Or?
It's likely that they needed a higher level of support,
Okay.
and they were moved into a special day setting.
So could I guess that 41 might be some of the kinder first and TK dropping?
That I'm not sure that I can
So
answer.
if somebody
that.
could just kind of get back and
Yes.
explain that to me, I appreciate
I think
it.
we can. Dr. Fields, can we work on that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right. For items
Are we
B-
going to talk about the budget at all, or are we good there?
I always provide the monthly update to the budget, and if there are any questions, I'll gladly answer them, but.
Okay.
Any questions? We're
Yeah,
good?
we're good.
Okay. For items B through P, are there any questions for the first readings? Okay.
I just wanted to mention M is a new board policy in AR. We have an uptick in language at our school sites. We have a lot of racist comments being made. So this is going to provide us with the opportunity to provide some education for our students as well as our teachers on how to disrupt that kind of language and what to do when they hear it. We want to be supportive of our students here, of all our students, and we want to give people the tools and the education they need to make sure they're using appropriate language.
Great. All right, here we go. First reading of BP 1160, political processes. Item C, first reading of BP 1313.01, civility. First reading of BP and AR 1330, use of school facilities. First reading of AR 3311, bids. First reading of AR 3311.3, design-built contracts. First reading of BP 3312, contracts. First reading of BP 3460, financial reports and accountability. First reading of AR and BP 3551, food service operations cafeteria fund. First reading of BP 4151, 4251, and 4351, employee compensation. First reading of AR 4217.3, layoff and rehire. First reading of BP 5131.9, academic honesty. First reading of BP and AR 5145.9, hate-motivated behavior. First reading of BP 6162.5, student assessment. First reading of AR 7140, architectural and engineering services. And first reading of bylaw 4124, attorney. Are there any questions or comments about Q, R, and S? All right, I make a motion to approve the second reading of BP 5117, interdistrict attendance. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Second reading of, I make a motion to approve the second reading of BP 5141.5, mental health. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I make a motion to approve the second reading of BP and AR 5141.6, school health services. Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item T, approval of adding special board meeting on November 28th, 2023.
So this is the board meeting where we have Babs Kavanaugh coming to work with our governance.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve adding a special board meeting on November 28th, 2023?
All motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There is no acceptance of gifts and donations. Any future business or agenda items? Trustee Johnson?
None.
Trustee Nelson?
No, I believe our DLAC meeting is tomorrow, so.
Yeah. Trustee Martin?
I'd like to keep the conversation of adding an SRO alive and school site safety. I was thinking tonight about the school site ambassadors and a way to increase those numbers. But just want to keep that conversation going, as well as ways to mitigate the effects of COVID and distant learning. The more that I hear and see firsthand the negative effects of that distance learning, it just makes me concerned for the younger students and want to just keep our eyes and ears open for creative ways to address that and maybe some funding sources. Petition the state. I do kind of regret that the state didn't earmark some of those extra funds that they had over the last couple of years for the negative effects of COVID and distance learning.
Right. Trustee Brown?
Weren't we going to hear back about the inquiry of a second SRO, and that report's going to come back to us too?
Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations. Debbie was not able to meet with me the other day, so I don't have any update from her. I do have some anecdotal information from Chief Mattos, and I'm also waiting to speak with him.
Right.
So I think what we were planning on doing is putting together kind of a presentation for the board and what we find out and what costs are, what availability is. And that'll be in the future, probably, hopefully the November meeting.
Anecdotally, they're having problems filling spots and spaces for their regular needs, much less the SRO.
Yes, that is what I'm understanding. So we may need to look at other options.
And then
Okay.
I guess one of our bond going forward spending items is, their focus is going to be safety, correct? Or not?
We had talked about a potentially, if we were to go out for another bond, that safety would be included in that. Yes, we've
Right,
had that
okay.
conversation.
Okay.
It is a big, well, it's not on the agenda, so I'm not going to talk anymore about it. But
Yeah, I mean, to
yes.
come back.
For future.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
future stuff.
Yeah.
No, not a solution now, but.
Yes, thank you.
All right. There was no need to reconvene to open session, so we will adjourn the meeting at 7:59. And